Over the past 20 years, I've taught self-defense to tens of thousands of people through martial arts. And yet my greatest hope is that they never have to use them. At least not the part that involves physically fighting back against a threat, which in many cases may be bigger, stronger, or more aggressive. But the skills I hope everyone walks away with and actually use on a daily basis lead to greater confidence, stronger intuition, and the ability to read the room and avoid danger whenever possible. But for far too many people, avoidance isn't always an option. Our bullies can come in the form of abusive partners, toxic workplaces, oppressive systems, or even times in your life when you feel massive uncertainty or collective chaos. But ancient martial arts wisdom teaches us that no matter what you're up against, you always have leverage. But here's what most people get wrong about martial arts. They think it's about squaring off and going toe-to-toe with an opponent. They picture two people in a ring or a cage trying to overpower each other with spectators cheering them on. But the wisdom of martial arts is not about domination or winning at all costs. It is about surviving and even thriving through difficult times with discipline and self-mastery. And leverage is what makes that possible. Leverage means being strategic instead of reactive. It means redirecting force instead of matching it. It means conserving your energy instead of burning yourself out. And for many of us, this isn't just theoretical, it's necessary. In fact, right now in the United States, statistics are not good. Every 68 seconds, one of us will experience sexual violence. When physical strength isn't equal, brute force is not a reliable strategy. But leverage is. And while all of martial arts teaches us leverage, there are 3 types we can seek out when we're up against a bully of any kind. In Hapkido, small leverage offers big control. Hapkido is known for its joint, arm, wrist techniques, minor movements that can stop your opponent in their tracks. But what I find the most fascinating is the Hapkido finger lock. Being able to control someone twice your size by finding the right angle and applying a small amount of pressure to the smallest joints of the body. So, what does that teach us? That you don't need to overpower a bully. You just need to work the right angle. I know of this businesswoman who created an entire training framework for a company she was working for. Later on, she found out that they were using her material, teaching it internally, and not giving her any proper credit or compensation. She could have started a legal battle, lawyers, arguments, endless emails, and inflated costs. Instead, she chose a different angle. She sent them an invoice for her unpaid labor. Here's how this angle can work in your life. It's simply taking a big, deep breath to settle yourself before you set your boundary. It's standing out in a sea of job applicants by being the only one to send a personalized thank you. So a lesson we take from Hapkido is that small leverage can offer big shifts. Judo also uses leverage, but the secret sauce to judo techniques is to couple leverage with momentum. Your opponent comes at you fast. You turn into them. You get your center of gravity right underneath theirs, and with a push and pull, momentum sends them flying onto the ground. Early on in my career, right here in New York City, I started out as a personal trainer, a health coach, and a martial arts instructor. After a few years of hustling downtown, I decided to make it official, get a logo and build a website. Then I filed for a trademark, and I proudly named my fledgling business Health and the City. Suddenly, I started receiving postcards in the mail. They were written in legalese and from this massive media corporation. Apparently, the lawyers for the hottest TV show at the time didn't like my business name so much. And then the phone calls from the attorney started. I was intimidated, and I didn't have the money or the resources to go toe-to-toe with this giant. I had just invested all I had in this effort, which was a whopping $600 at the time, and all I had. So I couldn't help but wonder, was I in over my head, or was this just a case of a classic bully? They assumed I would fold. But what they didn't know was I was out of money or options to do an entire rebrand. And most importantly, I shouldn't have to. So I leaned into my mojo from the dojo and I looked for leverage. I reached out to one journalist that I knew. And within a few days, a small blurb ran in a national newspaper about my legal dispute. Then a national radio show called. And then another major newspaper ran a full-page story framing it as a David and Goliath battle. And just like that, the giant backed off and I got to keep my business name. See? This is what I mean. You don't have to meet force with force. You can use leverage coupled with momentum like a big, energetic judo throw. You know that feeling when you're up against a giant, feeling like you're all alone in it. Momentum often starts there, with one voice, one truth, one person willing to speak up. And then something powerful happens. Another voice joins in, and then another. It's how people raise money for medical bills through crowdfunding. It's how survivors of sexual assault gain the confidence to speak up when they realize they're no longer alone. One story becomes two, two becomes 10, and before you know it, what felt like an isolated struggle is now a shared movement. And just like in judo, when momentum builds, the balance of power can shift very quickly. But there's one more type of leverage, one that bullies hate even more and one that protects your peace. It's when you refuse to play their game at all. Aikido is known for being a non-aggressive and non-violent martial art. Many of its techniques involve circular motions where you blend with your opponent's energy only to redirect that energy back. But first, you have to learn to step off the line of attack. My passion in life is to teach women how to protect themselves in mind, body, and spirit. You'd think that would be uncontroversial. It's not. I get a lot of nasty comments, angry emails, and yes, even death threats. Early on, I felt the urge to respond to everyone, to defend myself and my work, to prove my point. But if I spent my energy and time fighting back against every critic, I would eventually burn out. And that would leave no more room or energy for my mission, which is to help people feel more strong, safe, and powerful, from the streets to the boardroom and from the inside out. So I learned to step off the line of attack. Instead of always fighting back, I starve my bullies of the energy that fuels their fire. Why? Because not every attack is looking for resolution. They're looking to hijack your nervous system. You know what I'm talking about. Every day we're met with so much rage bait. So, what are we supposed to do? We starve our bullies and instead feed what they destroy. Starve lies, feed truth. Starve censorship, feed expression. Starve war, feed peace. Not every provocation deserves your response. Deflect, send that energy back, and build something better. The loudest bully in the room doesn't want your agreement, they want your energy. So the pursuit ends when you choose to stop being chased. My friends, while we can take these lessons from martial arts and use them for our own individual battles, the greatest leverage of all is to apply them to our community. Because a strong man can't take down a well-fed, well-connected, well-cared-for community. They will find a way to resist, to rise up, to rebuild. But a hungry, isolated, divided people, they're easier to conquer. Look around you, my friends. This is your community and your greatest leverage.